Welcome to GenXYZ Finance and Technology, where we gather valuable information to keep you up to date with what's going on around the world. Now, before we start, be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more of us and hit that bell button too, so you'll be the first to know about our informative tech videos and practical financial tips. Now on to the video. Warren Buffett, the 91-year-old Berkshire Hathaway fund manager, is one of the world's most well-known investors. This iconic investor is the genius behind Berkshire Hathaway's $294.4 billion portfolio, which has generated about a 20% annual return. The billionaire is known for identifying inexpensive stocks with a strong business foundation, little or no debt, and a competitive but sustainable profit margin. Hello there, folks, and in this video, we'll take a look at Berkshire Hathaway's top 10 holdings as of 2022. Now, shall we? Let's get into it. Number 10. Bank of New York Mellon. Warren Buffett has always been a fan of Bank of New York Mellon, and despite his waning enthusiasm for banks, he has mostly maintained his Berkshire holdings. In Q2 of 2020, he reduced the investment slightly, but it was nothing compared to the massive haircuts Berkshire's other bank holdings had received in recent quarters. The Bank of New York Mellon is a custodian bank that keeps assets for institutional clients and does back-end accounting. Its origins may be traced back to 1784, when a group led by Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr created the Bank of New York. According to Federal Reserve figures, BK is now the country's 9th largest bank by assets. Berkshire Hathaway invested in BNY for the first time in Q3 of 2010 and has paid an estimated average price of $43.90. Since then, he became the bank's top shareholder, owning 8.4% of the stock. Number 9. DaVita. During the first quarter of 2012, Berkshire reported its initial investment in DaVita Healthcare, a kidney dialysis machine maker, among other things. Given that DaVita was a major holding of Ted Weschler's Peninsula Capital before he joined Berkshire, it wasn't unreasonable to presume it was his choice. In 2014, Weschler confirmed this. DaVita stock shot up over 2020 and 2021, resulting in a $2 billion jump in value for Berkshire Hathaway. For now, Buffett is DaVita's single greatest shareholder. He owns 36.1 million shares, or slightly more than a third of the company's total outstanding stock. Number 8. US BANCORP. US BANCORP is the 5th largest bank in the United States by assets and the country's largest regional bank. It's also one of Berkshire Hathaway's oldest equities, with the Oracle of Omaha initiating its holding in the first quarter of 2006. Buffett is well known for his discretion when it comes to US BANCORP. He decreased it by 1% in Q3, or about 2.5 million shares, after trimming it down by 0.6% and 1.1% in Q2 and Q1 respectively. Buffett's decision to scrape a small portion of the USB holding stands in stark contrast to what he's done with so many of Berkshire's other bank stocks. He's mostly slashed them with a hatchet, and it's not like the regional lender's profits have justified sticking on when so many of its counterparts have been abandoned by Buffett. True, USB's total return has outperformed the market by 6.6 percentage points so far in 2021, but it has lagged significantly during the previous 3, 5, 10, and 15 years. US BANCORP shareholders undoubtedly appreciate Berkshire's confidence. With an 8.5% ownership, this makes the company the largest institutional shareholder among other investors. Number 7. VERIZON. VERIZON, the Dow Jones Industrial Average's only telecommunications business, is a favorite of long-term dividend investors everywhere. That's why it fits in so well with Berkshire Hathaway's holdings. In Q4 of 2020, Berkshire and Buffett initiated a new interest in VERIZON, purchasing around 146.7 million shares, valued at $8.69 billion. The telco accounted for 3.2% of Berkshire's overall equity portfolio value in one fell swoop. Buffett increased his investment in the company by 8% in Q1 of 2021, when he acquired more than 12 million shares. VERIZON's assets weighting has decreased slightly, although it still accounts for 2.9% of total assets. Number 6. MOODY'S. MOODY'S is a business and financial services company best known for its Moody's Investor Service credit rating arm, which, together with Standard & Poor's and Fitch's ratings, is one of the 3 major American commercial credit rating agencies. Moody's Analytics provides financial analytical technologies. The irony of Berkshire Hathaway's holding in Moody's is that Buffett stated in 2020, quote, "Our job is to rate credit ourselves. We do not outsource that to rating agencies." Moody's Corporation has been a substantial asset in Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio for a long time, which has the largest holdings at 13.2% of the financial firm. Berkshire Hathaway's stake in the company is also significant. Moody's is one of the top 10 Buffett stocks at roughly 3% of assets. Number 5. KRAFT HEINZ. Buffett was a leading influence behind KRAFT HEINZ with a market value of roughly $12 billion. It is Berkshire's 5th largest stock holding. The KRAFT HEINZ company wrote down the value of its brands by approximately $15 billion in early 2019. The company's debt was downgraded to junk status by Fitch in 2020. Despite the fact that its second quarter profitability was above estimates, KRAFT had to declare another $2.9 billion in impairments. Although KRAFT's operational performance has improved since then, its stock has reverted to trailing the overall market. KHC still has a lot of catching up to do in the Berkshire Hathaway equities portfolio to get rid of its quote-unquote dud reputation. With a 26.6% stake, Berkshire Hathaway remains the company's second largest shareholder. Number 4. Coca-Cola. Buffett, an outspoken supporter of Cherry Coke, began investing in Coca-Cola shares shortly after the 1987 stock market meltdown. Buffett stated in a 1988 letter to Berkshire stockholders that he anticipated to keep the stock, quote-unquote, for a long time. He has lived up to his word over 3 decades later. With 9.3% of outstanding shares, Berkshire is the company's largest stakeholder, and Coca-Cola is one of Buffett's most well-known stocks. While Coca-Cola stock hasn't performed particularly well, its 128% total return over the last decade lags the S&P 500's 354%. It has been a goldmine for income investors. For 59 years, the beverage company has grown its dividend. Number 3. American Express. Buffett's favorite investment, American Express, is still going strong. Berkshire Hathaway is American Express's largest stakeholder, now owning 19.1% of the company's outstanding shares. At Berkshire's 2019 annual meeting, Buffett acknowledged Amex's brand power. "It's a fantastic story, and I'm glad we own 18% of it, a total return of nearly 1,630% over the last quarter century would make most investors pretty happy." Number 2. Bank of America. Buffett spent the majority of 2020 slashing and hacking away at his bank stock holdings, but he remained as devoted to Bank of America as he had always been. Buffett's engagement with the bank stretches back to 2011 when he stepped in to help the company recover from the Great Recession. Berkshire obtained preferred stock yielding 6% and warrants giving it the ability to buy BOFA common stock at a substantial discount in exchange for investing $5 billion in the company. In the fourth quarter of 2019, Warren Buffett sold 2.2 million back shares, a tiny percentage decrease. While he sold off a big portion of his bank assets in 2020, he actually added to Berkshire's already sizable position in quarter 3 of that year by purchasing more than 85 million shares. The holding company's position in BAC is still worth more than $41 billion, accounting for 14.6% of portfolio value. Berkshire is Bank of America's largest stakeholder, owning 12% of the company's stock. Number 1. Apple. Even though Warren Buffett loves Apple, he opted to sell a little portion of his Berkshire holdings at the end of last year. During the final quarter of 2020, Berkshire Hathaway sold 57.2 million shares, or about 6% of its Apple holdings. But it's unlikely that this was due to a lack of confidence in the iPhone maker. Buffett has said about Apple, quote, "I don't think of Apple as a stock." Buffett has said about Apple, "I think of it as our third business." Buffett was most likely simply reaping the benefits of an extremely profitable investment. Since Berkshire began its holding in Apple at the end of quarter 1 2016, the stock has returned 494%. That's more than 3 times the market's performance. Do you hold any of Warren's top picks? Please let us know in the comments section below. And hey, if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel too, so we can continue giving you the best content fresh and new. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.